When it comes to facial and body treatments before a wedding, it is not just brides who are booking. Wedding expert Alison McGill joins us with more. This is kind of a fascinating shift, and you're talking about it in your podcast next month.
I am, yes. So we're talking about, I'm calling it prejuvenation. So
Okay.
we're not rejuvenating, we're prejuvenating. So it's kind of about sort of fighting the signs of aging and a little bit beyond that, things that you might not love about yourself. Where we're getting this from is a study came out from Real Self, which is an online platform which connects consumers with, cosmetic surgeons. And there was a 30% increase in traffic about looking at just what we're talking about. We're talking about, injectables, we're talking about surgical procedures. That's a really hefty uptick. Mm-hmm. And super interesting. And I was talking to some doctors, Dr. Samoji and Dr. Jalil, who are at Forum Face and Body. And we had a great conversation about this. They're coming up on the podcast next month to talk about it. And they are definitely seeing men and women coming in and requesting procedures to help them feel their best self. So it's all about feeling confident, putting your best face forward. So we're talking about injectables, body treatments, contouring, and in some cases we are talking about surgical procedures. So it's very interesting.
And prejuvenation, we're talking about people who are a little bit younger, like so 30-year-olds coming in. But,
exactly.
But you mentioned before, like if you have always not liked your nose, a wedding is kind of like, okay, you're going to be in all the pictures, so maybe people think that's the time I'm going to fix it for. Well,
yeah, it's not a decision you're going to wake up and say, immediately, yes, this is just dawned on me. Absolutely not. And this is what, I was chatting about with the doctors, Dr. Jalil and Dr. Samoji. These are things that people, it's on their radar. So, professionals are there to enable you and feel confident about yourself. That's what we're getting to here. And, we need to talk about budget and recovery time with things. Some things are minorly invasive. Like we could even be talking about upping your skincare. Mm-hmm. You guys just did a Medi-Spa clinic visit. So it could be professional skincare. It could be something, injectables where we treat fine lines and we pump up volume in the face, even do jawline contouring. And then there's, surgical procedures which are a little more invasive. So again, that's body contouring, could be breast augmentation, rhinoplasty, as you talked about. But it's a really interesting space, and we're in the era of self-care. People want to feel great about themselves. Mm-hmm. And the number one thing is everybody wants to look natural, best version of yourself.
Right. And we've been looking at ourselves in Zoom for the past 3 years, right?
We have.
And it's just like, wow.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's, we're going to make movies about this time in our life, from many perspectives. But that's one. We spent a lot of time with ourselves, looking at ourselves, and maybe thinking about how can we feel better in ourselves. And this is really what we're talking about. We go to the gym to feel great. We have our hair cut and colored to feel great. Sort of advanced skincare, non-surgical and surgical, is the next frontier of that. And people are talking about it, and it's really something that's topical right now, and people want to know about.
Because it's interesting, because a couple of you, even before the pandemic, if you got work done, you would never talk about it, right? You just want people to assume that this is what I look like now.
Right. And I think that it's great that we're in the era of transparency, because this is something people want to know about, they want to talk about, and they want to share with people and how they feel so great and why they look great. And basically, another thing that's come up when you talk about us in the pandemic, tiredness has been a thing that I think we've all noticed about ourselves. Mm-hmm. We are tired, and it does show. So that's one of the number one things that, doctors are hearing, that patients want to look rejuvenated through
refreshed.
Prejuvenation. Yes, exactly. So when we're talking about any type of procedure, injectables or surgical, of course we have to talk about timeline, because that's very important. So with injectables, they take a little bit to kick in. So if you're getting a neuromodulator like Dysport or Botox, that's going to take up to 2 weeks to kick in. So you don't want to get that done right before your wedding day. Mm-hmm. You want to see somebody well in advance.
And even a facial, like just a facial to make you feel better. Right?
Exactly. So
it's going to make your skin red. You don't want it done the day before.
You don't. So no facials, no lasers the day before. You need to plan it out. So injectables, you're talking like 2 weeks to at least 6 weeks before, and probably even before that, to see how you react to it if you're new to it. And of course, if we're talking about a surgical procedure, well, that's something you have to discuss with your doctor well in advance, because you need healing
bruising
time. Right. But I do want to say, also interesting, which the doctors from Face and Form shared with me, is recovery time, and technology has made everything so much faster. So you don't need a lot of downtime for a lot of these procedures.
Okay. The name of the podcast again is?
It's Aisle Seat, and we're going to be talking about this on 4th week of May.
Okay. We'll get all your socials up on ours at chch.com/morninglive. Thanks.
Thanks, Anand.